Hello friends, my name is Paramjeet Singh and welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, we are going to learn about cloud computing, how cloud computing came into picture, what do we need it for, and how small and large companies are migrating to cloud computing, and how it is very cost effective and what are the benefits of cloud computing. So we'll start from the very basics so that you get the exact picture why the cloud computing is being used worldwide. So if we talk about the basics, uh, I'm starting an organization and I need a server. So what I do is, if I talk about basic, this is a very old concept wherein you need a server and you install one of the services on this, let's say DHCP. Now you install one service on one physical server, that is DHCP. Now, if this server fails, you need additional server which already has DHCP installed on it, so that if one server is down, it automatically comes up. So this is a physical server. Now the next thing comes into picture. You have another server which is running DNS, domain name services, and you need a backup server for that as well. So you can imagine, like you need a number of physical servers, you need number of resources. Then when you buy a number of resources, you need to pay a lot. You need to pay a lot of money. You need to have a lot of security. The physical security, you have to spend so much on power consumption. So many things are there. So what you do is you create any other server, then you have domain controller on it. Again, you need backup server for it. You create any other service which is file storage services. Then again, you need a backup server for this one as well. So you can understand you need a lot of servers, a lot of resources. You will have to pay a lot for buying these servers. You will have to pay a lot for managing. You will have to have a team in your organization who is going to manage all these servers. A lot of things. Now, then next thing came into the picture, which is virtualization. So in virtualization, what exactly I'm doing is, if I am purchasing one server in basic, which has 160 GB of hard drive, this is just an example, and 2 GB of RAM. Now I buy one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8 servers which has this configuration to fulfill my needs. It is just an example. So when you buy these many servers which has this configuration, it will you will have to pay a lot. So what I'm doing is I buy single server, a single physical server which has a hard drive of around 4 TB, and then I have a RAM which is around 32 gigs of RAM. Now what I do is I install uh, one software, or either you can say one firmware. I'll discuss what is the difference between software and a firmware. I'll discuss it. So once you install a software or a firmware on this physical server, you can split it into different virtual machines. Like the software will allow you to create different virtual machines. You can select hard drive 1 TB and RAM 2 gigs. You select this configuration and you create virtual machine 1. Then again you select the same configuration, virtual machine 2, hard drive 1 TB, RAM 2 GB. So this is how you go on. So you keep on splitting this server, you keep on splitting the resources available in this server, not physically but virtually. So what is the benefit of this thing? In this case, you have to maintain the single server, you have to pay for the power consumption of single server. The physical security for this server requires very less, and the team who is managing the server, it becomes very easier for them to manage this because it is virtualizing the virtual machines. Now you can create n number of virtual machines depending on the configuration of your server and the needs. So what I do is if I create one virtual machine, there is one service DHCP running on this server. I can create a backup of this server on the virtual machine 2. So if I create DHCP services on virtual machine 1, I am creating a backup of DHCP services in the same physical server. However, it is configured, it is split into two different servers virtually. And when we split the server virtually and we create different virtual machines, the resources on this server will not impact the resources on this server. There will not be any impact. You cannot use the hard drive. Like if it has 1 TB of hard drive and this one also has 1 TB of hard drive, it does not mean that you can store 2 TB of file of 2 TB on both the servers in one go. This 1 TB hard drive will be used by this particular machine, and this 1 TB hard drive will be used by this particular machine. This is how it is configured. It will not impact the virtual machines. Now, if I give you a layman example, when you talk about basic services, it is like you buy a motorbike, you buy a two-wheeler, and there you have option for only for one person sitting at one time. One person can ride the motorcycle or the two-wheeler, and you understand that when one person is riding a bike or motorcycle or two-wheeler, it is not cost effective because only one person is traveling from one station to another, and then he has to pay for the maintenance of that bike, he has to pay for the fuel cost, everything. Now, when you talk about virtualization, it is like you are buying a car, and you have option to sit 4 people or 5 people, or sometimes you get a car with a 7-seater option. So you can buy a car, and if you are in India, you will prefer the CNG one because the fuel cost is touching 200. So this is how it goes in virtualization. You buy a car, you sit 5 people, and you are traveling to some place, and the cost which is being paid is divided to those people. So it is very cost effective. It is very helpful. Okay. Now the third thing came into picture. What happens is when you talk about virtualization, you have to buy servers, and the servers will cost you around 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs, depending on the configurations. So what you do is when you are starting a small organization, you do not know how is it going to help, or how will your how much your organization will grow. You do not have exact plan. So there is uncertainty in your business because you are just starting up. So what you cannot spend money on this server. You do not want to spend money. You do not want to spend money on the power consumption, on the hardware of this server. So what you do is you take services from cloud. So there are different cloud platforms like AWS, Azure, GCP, Google Cloud. Then you have Oracle, and then some other cloud platform services. So when you avail services from cloud, then it is like you are availing a public transport. You are just availing a public transport wherein there is a bus. You just pay for the charges to travel from one place to another, and you sit and you avail the service, and then you are not paying for the maintenance of this bus. You are not paying for the fuel consumption. It's just that you are just paying for the services which you have just availed. You have availed the services for this public transport from going from one place to another. You just paid for that much. There is no any additional cost. The service maintenance and services are being done by the transport company itself. You are not paying for it. So this is how I can define cloud. So this is very cost effective. You just request the services on cloud platform portal. You manage it. You get the securities on the portal. You get everything. You just need very limited team, very small team who is going to manage these services on the portal, who is expert in managing the services. So you need very less team. You are not even paying for any physical security. You are just paying for the securities which you use within the portal, like services or softwares that you are going to use within the portal. So this is the difference between basic servers, virtualization, and cloud computing. That is why cloud computing is being used globally and it came into picture. This is the only reason. Now, let me tell you the difference between a software and a firmware. A software is an application which you install on any operating system which is already running on the machine. For example, I have a computer and I have Windows 7 running on it. Now I install Microsoft. Now I install Microsoft Office on this Windows 7. So I am installing an application on already running operating system. This is my software. But this Windows 7 will act as a firmware. Now, one more example. You are using an Android phone. Android is a firmware, and when you install Facebook on your Android phone or any application from Play Store, this is a software. Now, when it comes to the servers, then what happens is there are two options: Hyper-V, which is type 1, and type 2. So what you do is when you install type 1 hypervisor on your server, why are you installing it? Just to make the server like to use the virtualization. You do not want to use the server as it is. You want to virtualize it. You need to have different virtual machines in this particular server. So what you do is you install type 1 hypervisor, which is also called bare metal. So what it is doing is it installs the server. It installs the software on the server. Next, this software will allow you options to create different virtual machines. So we do not have any operating system on which I'm installing this type 1 virtual hypervisor. I am installing this software on the server itself, not on any kind of operating system. This hypervisor, it is called ESXi. This will act as an operating system to make it a virtual machine. Now the second option comes is type 2. What happens is I am doing a lab, I am practicing virtualization. I cannot afford to have a server at my home. So what I do is I have a laptop, I download Hyper-V, or when you have pro version of Windows or you have ultimate version of Windows 7, you have this hypervisor services already in the system. You can enable it. So what I do is I enable hypervisor. Now I already have operating system 7 or Windows 10 running on my laptop. So when I am enabling hypervisor or I am installing hypervisor, this will act as a software, whereas this ESXi is acting as a firmware. So this is the difference between firmware and software. I just included it in this lecture so that it makes you clear how the virtualization is done and what is the difference between firmware and software. So friends, let's discuss about cloud computing. What is cloud computing? It refers to the delivery of on-demand computing services over the internet on pay-as-you-go basis. Cloud computing is something which you can avail by on demand. Like you need a service, you just request the service on the portal of cloud service platforms, and you get the service, you pay for it, and you use it. So by pay as you go means the services which you are availing or using, you have to pay only for those services. There is not any additional cost. There is not power consumption cost included in it. You do not have to pay for any private security. You do not have to pay for any maintenance. Then you have this point which says rather than managing files and services on a local server storage device, you can do it over the internet in a very cost effective manner. So what you are doing is you are not storing the files and services on your on-premises network, or on the you are not like paying for it to be in your premises. You are just storing the files and services on cloud, which is very cost effective. You need the services, you avail it, but it is stored on the cloud. You talk about the redundancy, you have a copy of those files. The service cloud service provider is assuring you that you will not lose your data. It is secure. So that's how it works. Now, when you talk about models of cloud computing, you have two models. One is deployment model, and the other one is service model. When you talk about deployment model, you have three options: public cloud, private cloud, hybrid cloud. When you say public cloud, it means you are availing the services from cloud computing platform service providers like Amazon Web Services, Google Cloud Platform, Microsoft Azure, Oracle, and we have a lot of other cloud computing options. So in that case, it is called public cloud because the services or files, whatever I'm storing, it's only on the cloud. I am not using any on-premises server. I am not using any on-premises storage or any network racks. I am storing or I am utilizing each and every service on the cloud. I just log into the portal, I request the service, I make changes, I implement it, I manage it. I'm doing everything, but it is over the cloud. The good example for this is a bus. You travel in a bus from one place to another, but you are not paying for the maintenance cost, for the fuel cost, the driver who is driving the bus. You are not paying for all these things. It's just that you are paying for the services that you are availing to go from one place to another, and that's it. Then comes the private cloud. Private cloud is you have the servers on premises, you have the servers in your own organization, physically located in your office. You are managing those servers, but it is a kind of private cloud. You are storing the files, you are storing the services, you are utilizing the resources. The other party, the other organization cannot enter in your network, and the other company cannot utilize those services. They cannot store their files on your network. It is a private cloud. It is not public because you are the owner. The example for this is a car. So you you own a car, you pay for it, you pay for the insurance, you pay for the fuel consumption, you pay for the maintenance, you pay for the for buying the car, but you are the owner. You can drive it anywhere you want. It is not restricted to something. So this is an example of private cloud. Now comes the hybrid cloud. Hybrid cloud is when if I give you an example, I have a small organization. I started it years ago, but at that time, I do not. The cloud computing was not very famous, or the people were not familiar with cloud computing. So I bought a server. I started my own organization. It was running well, but then I noticed that I need to expand my storage. I need to expand my resources. Then I thought that let's try cloud computing because cloud computing is running very successfully in the market. So what I do is I avail the services from cloud computing, but that does not mean that the cost which I have spent on my server, like 10 lakhs or 15 lakhs of rupees, it does not mean that my server is a waste now. My on-premise server is not a waste. So what I do is I avail the services from cloud, but I also store some files on the server. If I give you an example, you have an application, and in that application, the database, you have very critical data. It is a confidential data. You cannot store it on cloud. You do not trust cloud computing platforms. There is high security required. So what you do is the database, you keep it on your on premises, but you create the application on cloud. You are using the compute services, you are using the using other services from the cloud, but the database is on your private cloud network. So this is how hybrid cloud works. It is by using, it is the combination of public and private, that you can say. So if I give you a layman example, then you have cabs. Cab is something which can be rented by everyone or anyone in the world. So when you avail the cab services, you book it. You have to pay from while going from one place to another. But in between, you can change your route in between. But you are not owning the car. You are not owning it, but you are owning it temporarily when you pay for it. When you are you are sitting in the car. So that is how hybrid works. This is an example of hybrid cloud. Now let's talk about the service models. So we have three options in service model, which is IaaS, which is called infrastructure as a service. Then we have PaaS, which is platform as a service. Then we have SaaS, which is software as a service. So when we differentiate between them, when I say I am using a on-premises service, it means the applications, data, runtime, middleware, operating system, virtualization, server, storage, monitoring, everything I am managing on my own. I own all these things. This all these things are being managed by myself. I have my organization, which where I'm using on-premises service. It means I have an application team, which is creating the applications. I have a team which is helping me in virtualization. I have another team which is monitoring the services. I have another team which is working on storage. I have another team which is working on database. But everything on premises is being managed by myself. I am not taking any services from outside third party cloud platforms or anything. Now, when it comes to IaaS in service model, it is infrastructure as a service. In this, these are the things which are being managed by myself, but these are the services which I am availing from cloud. So I am availing monitoring services, I am availing storage, I am availing the servers and virtualization from cloud. I am creating these virtualization, these virtual machines on the cloud. However, the applications which I am creating, the middleware softwares or the operating systems are owned by myself. I have an application team. The team creates the application, the team uploads the application, but the servers which are being used are are on the cloud, are not on premises. They are not located in my premises. Now, when we talk about PaaS, platform as a service, in this, applications and data is provided by myself. The team who is creating the application can upload the application on the cloud. The data is being provided myself, but all the rest of the services are on the cloud. The monitoring services are on the cloud, storage, servers, virtualization. I'm using the operating system from the cloud itself. I do not have any licenses with myself. I'm not giving any licenses. I'm not typing it manually. I'm just using the operating system, the complete operating system from cloud. I am using the runtime facilities, the middleware softwares, the services from the cloud itself, which is platform as a service. Now, software as a service. In this, I'm using all the services from the cloud platform. If I need any application, I avail it on cloud. If I need any middleware software, I avail it on cloud. If I need virtualization, I'm availing it on cloud. I do not have any team in my organization which is helping me to create applications. Even if I need any custom application that I need on myself and any custom application, I am still requesting the cloud platform. They will create it for me. They have a dedicated team for working on it. Yes, we are going to pay for it, but in this case, we do not have to have any application team in my premises whom we are paying to or whom we are managing or so many things. So what I do is in SaaS, I have everything being managed by my cloud services. Even if even the data, my data is also being managed by the cloud services. For example, I'm running a service on the cloud in a SaaS platform. In this case, everything is being managed by cloud. The data is stored on the cloud. The applications are being created or managed by the cloud. So this is how it differentiates. Okay, friends, so let's discuss what are the benefits of cloud over on-premises environment. So what we do is we differentiate it between scalability, server storage, data security. So when we talk about on-premises, scalability, you pay more, but you get less options. When we talk about scalability, scalability is you can scale your application like you have one application and it is not specific that the 100 users will log into this specification to this application or 200 or 300. It varies. So for example, your application is used by 200 people on weekdays, but your application is used by 50 people on weekends, on Saturdays and Sundays. So what we do is, in case of cloud, there is automatic scalability. We have multiple users logging in to a particular application or virtual machine, the cloud system will automatically scale up. Means it will start creating multiple instances of virtual machines. Like if we have 10 virtual machines instances, and it sees that we have a lot of traffic, a lot of users logging in, it will create some more instances, some more virtual machines automatically, so that the users can log into those virtual machines. But in case of on-premises, this is not a case. Like if you buy one server, you have the capacity to scale it up to the 200 people. But if one day you observe that people are logging in to those virtual machine instances and there is a lot of traffic, you have more people, then you cannot go beyond 100. There is a limit because the hard drive on that particular server is limited. The RAM is limited. The CPUs are limited. So you cannot go ahead and scale out to any limit in case of on-premises. But this is possible in cloud only. So even if you talk about scalability, once you scale up, it is difficult to scale down. Means you want to scale up. Now you think that 300 people will log into your application, and in the on-premises environment, you add one more server. But then you realize the traffic is going down. Now you do not need that much virtual machines, that much instances, that much scalability. You cannot scale in, you cannot scale down, you cannot configure it that okay, now I need only 50 virtual machines. If you have spent on an additional server and you scale it down, it is a kind of wastage for you because you have already spent the complete amount on that particular server. So it is very difficult, and it will also get you into a major loss if you do not use that particular server. So, okay, this is where it says it leads to heavy loss. It is going to be a heavy loss for you if you are not using a server which you have spent on. Now, when we talk about server storage, it needs a lot of space for the servers and also incur power and maintenance cost. When we talk about server storage, and it is not only the storage, because when you store some files on one particular hard drive, you also need to create a backup of that particular hard drive. So when we talk about on premises, you need to pay a lot for storage services, for hard drives, for network attached storage and everything. But in case of cloud, services are offered by cloud service providers who manage and maintain the servers. The maintenance, the management, it is all taken care by the cloud service providers. You just need to pay and you can avail the services. And it also allows you to save money and space. You do not have to put the physical servers inside your office. Everything is located on the cloud service providers region. So you just need to pay for the services. Now, when we talk about data security, on-premise servers offer less data security. They need physical and traditional IT security managers. When we talk about on-premises servers, you need to have a dedicated team of IT security which is looking into those servers, which takes care of the security. You also need the physical security. When there is a server room, you definitely need a security outside your server room, a security guard or any physical security. Now, this server offers less data security. We have very less options in when we talk about on-premise servers, because you have to buy additional equipment, like you need to buy external firewall hardwares or software applications just to make it secure. But in case of cloud, it offers much better security, and lets you avoid constantly monitor and manage security protocols. You need not to manage and monitor the security protocols on everyday basis, on daily basis. It is being taken care by the cloud service platform provider. The security and is also better. If you talk about the security, or if you avail any third party services on the security platform, you add some securities, it is being managed by the cloud platform. It's just that you need to add it to your services. Okay, now when we talk about data loss in case of on-premises, it has very less options of data recovery. You do not get a lot of options for recovering your data. It is very limited. And in case of cloud, it offers robust disaster recovery measures in place to ensure faster and easier data recovery. In case of cloud, you have robust disaster recovery measures because you are creating the virtual machines on different regions of Azure. If one of the region is attacked or there is any disaster, like natural disaster at that particular region, you already have your virtual machines running on a different region in Azure. So it gives you a higher option of data recovery. Now, when we talk about maintenance, it requires additional team to manage hardware and software, and it risks rises the cost. In case of maintenance in on-premises, you have to have a dedicated team which is going to manage or monitor that server, which rises the cost. You have to pay a lot of cost for that particular service. But in case of cloud, maintenance is done by cloud service providers, which reduces your cost and resource allocation substantially. You are not giving any kind of space to your servers. You are not maintaining it. You do not have any dedicated team which is doing it. It's just that you just need to click on few options on portal. You avail the services. It is being maintained by the cloud service provider, and you can manage it your way. You just need to make changes to the options that you have in that particular service, and then you can take advantage of it. So these are the few differences. These are the uses of cloud computing. We have discussed the cloud computing in detail. If you like the videos, subscribe to my channel and also press the bell icon. We upload videos on daily basis, and also share with your friends and family. Thank you so much.